Welcome to this 10-minute standing yoga flow for glute stability and strength. We'll start at the top of our mats in Tadasana, mountain pose, taking a few moments to settle into the body, into the breath, and arrive in the present moment. I'll see you on the mat. Starting in Tadasana, we'll inhale, extend our arms skywards, joining the palms together. Exhale, lower the hands to heart center. Taking a moment to ground the body. Inhale, we'll lower down to Utkatasana chair pose. Squeezing the inner thighs together. Hips are hinging backwards into a seat-like position, shifting the weight into the back of the heels. Navel is drawing towards the spine. Shoulders rolled back and down, arms extended skywards, away from the ears, lengthening up through the crown of the head, focusing on the breath, expanding across the collarbones, broadening across the chest. Final breath, squeeze the legs and glutes as we come up to a standing position, taking a moment to settle in. Ground down through the left foot as we transition into an Anjayasana crescent lunge pulse with the right leg going back. Lowering that right knee towards the mat. Exhale, step back to center. This time we'll go again, pulsing the leg, perhaps extending the arms out in front and joining them together in Namaskar Mudra. You can stay with this variation or follow along and hinge at the knee, finding a bit of balance. Exhale, pulse. Inhale up. Flowing with the breath. Ensuring that the hips are squared to the front of the mat. Grounding down through that left leg, through the left foot, the heel, the ball of the foot, all 5 toes. You might notice a scissoring sensation between the inner thighs as they work to stabilize your entire body, ensuring that that front knee is in line with the ankle, tracking in line with the second toe, flowing with the breath. Squeezing those glutes when you come up to a standing position. This time we're going to stay in our low crescent lunge and just pulse it out, flowing with the breath. You might like to leave the arms where they are, or alternatively extend them skywards, palms facing one another, shoulders rolled back and down, and hold the pulse. Hold the low lunge. Remember to breathe. Keep the abdominals engaged. One more breath, and we'll come back to Tadasana, taking a moment to ground ourselves, settle into the body, into the breath. This time we will transition into Virabhadrasana 3, a variation of Warrior 3, joining our hands together at heart center in prayer position. We will be flowing through a variation of Warrior 3 and a knee and hip flexion. So inhale, flex the knee. Exhale, shift our body weight forward as we extend that right leg back and back to center, perhaps extending the leg forward if that's in your practice. Alternatively, you might like to keep the leg bent, or you could even tap down onto the floor, finding a bit of stability if that works for you. Flowing with the breath. Be mindful to keep a micro bend in the supporting leg, the left leg that's grounding you down. finding the natural arch and support in that left foot. As you shift your body weight forward, feel yourself lengthening out through the crown of the head, as you feel yourself extending through the heel of that back foot, drawing you out in a linear, vertical line. Flowing with the breath. Once more. Now we're going to transition into Warrior 3 and stay here. Remember to breathe. Perhaps extending the arms out in front or keeping them joined together in Namaskar Mudra. If you wobble around a little bit, welcome that. That's perfectly natural. One more breath and coming back up to a standing position. Taking a moment to find the breath, perhaps shaking it out a little bit, inviting some movement into those hips, the legs. Inhale, extend the arms skywards. Exhale, hands to heart center, and we'll go on the left side. Stepping back into our Anjayasana crescent lunge, joining our hands in Namaskar Mudra. Exhale, pulse. Inhale, hands to heart center, hinging at the knee. Really working on getting that left leg, the back leg, the knee as close to the floor as possible. All the while ensuring that our hips are squared to the front of the mat. That right knee, the front leg, is tracking over the ankle in line with the second toe. Ensuring that those inner thighs are drawing together towards the midline. Maintaining that mind-body awareness. Core is engaged. We'll go for one more and then we'll find ourselves lowered to the ground in our Anjayasana crescent lunge pulse. Arms are extended out in front. You might like to drop your arms to support either hip or extend them skywards, palms facing one another. Stay here and breathe. Broadening across the collarbones, across the chest. Grounding down through that front foot. Perhaps feeling some sensation, some energy building up in the legs. Breathing through any tension. One more breath. And we'll transition back to Tadasana. Taking a moment to settle in, hands at heart center, and we'll extend back to our Virabhadrasana 3, Warrior 3 transition. Hinging upwards, flexing at the hip and the knee, perhaps extending that leg out in front. Remember, you can take this at your own pace, flowing with the breath, working on finding stability with these counterbalance postures. If you step out of it like I just did, that's okay. It's an opportunity to start again, to invite that muscle memory as to what positions enable us to find stability. Creating length through the crown of the head, through the heel of the foot. Trying to ensure that that left hip stays slightly internally rotated, squared to the mat as you extend. We might find a tendency for that hip to splay open a little bit, and that's okay, just making that awareness. This time we'll stay up in our Warrior 3 posture, grounding down through the right leg, the standing leg. Flowing with the breath, ensuring that that navel is drawn towards the spine, protecting our back. Final breath. And coming back to a standing position. Taking a moment to stretch it out, invite some movement into those hips, extend the arms skywards into Namaskar Mudra. And from here we're going to find a standing pigeon. So we'll start with our left leg, placing the outer ankle of our right leg somewhere along the thigh as we hinge from the hips, coming back into a seated position, making that mind-body connection, engaging the core, broadening across the chest, across the collarbones. This will be a lovely deep hip opener. Perhaps gazing forward, or you might even like to close the eyes. One more breath. Coming up to a standing position, shake it out. Inhale, extend. We'll go on the other side, guiding that left outer ankle to the right thigh. Flexing the left foot to protect the knee joint, sinking back into those hips. Finding a nice deep hip flexor stretch, a glute stretch. One more breath, and we'll come up to a standing position. Thank you so much for joining us for today's yoga flow. I invite you to join us in one of our meditation videos to further your practice. Namaste.